Welcome, Dirty Peasants, to episode 92 of Wartwood Gazette, the Amphibia podcast. This week we'll be talking about Hop Hop. I'm your host, the Maticon, and joining me today we have Rurk,
It's good to be back.
Impact,
Yo, what's good, everybody?
and Nick.
How's it going?
All right, thanks everyone for coming on tonight. It is March 17th, EST, 9:27 p.m. News this week. But at the time you're listening to this, probably a month ago, we got a date for the not Marcy Journal, oh my god, the Amphibia art book. That is going to be on November. Let me check this again.
Drum roll, please.
Amphibia, keep that drum roll going, Rurk. It is November 19th, 2024.
Hey!
So in addition to this art book, we're also getting a graphic novel. Release date of that unknown, but we do know that is something that exists, which is good enough for me for now.
Yeah.
That's all the news we have for this week. Big news. If we have time at the end after we cover the Hop Hop stuff, we can talk about it a bit more, but I feel like as we go on with these later recordings, we'll probably continue to talk about it, so we'll see. But on to the topic of today's recording. Last time we talked about the youngest Plantar in the family. Then we kind of changed topics to talk about villains. Now we're going back to the planners and talking about Hop Hop. Chris 68. We are going to cover our discussion of Hop Hop by season. And starting with season 1, I'm just going to ask you guys what your brief thoughts on Hop Hop in season 1. Personally, I love the character. My favorite Plantar. It's just nice to have like a old main character hanging out with like the younger kids once in a while and like getting his viewpoint. And he's the most relatable one, personally, for me, even though I'm not his age, but just I like how they use Hop Hop to kind of like just his suffering is relatable. But I guess starting with Impact, what are your thoughts on Hop Hop in season 1?
So, Hop Hop was my favorite character in season 1. He was definitely the funniest Plantar, I think, out of the three. I think, like, what made Hop Hop interesting was that, like, yeah, he was, like, comedic and funny, but also he felt like the most, like, three-dimensional Plantar to me. It was always, like, we were always, like, finding ways to expand on, like, I guess, well, not his backstory per se, but I feel like Hop Hop gets like the most like attention in season 1 from what I remember. I feel like he's like, if there's one season I think that fleshes him out the most, is this one. So like Hop Hop was my favorite of the Plantars. He felt like the most three-dimensional one. He's really funny. Pretty much every joke Hop in season 1 like slaps. And I think he also has like good like Hop Hop always has like conflict with the family too, like with like either Sprig or Anne, and kind of sort of Polly sometimes. Mainly Anne and Sprig like is where a lot of the conflict goes. I think that's fun for the Plantars, like to have not to say not to have conflict per se, but like to have more like, well, yeah, I guess conflict in general. Hop Hop was like his like different viewpoint of like how to handle the farm, or like how Anne thinks of her life at Like back on Earth, for example, it's nice to have a character who can kind of like clash with our main characters that way. So I like Hop Hop a lot. I'll have more to expand on once we get on like 2 and 3, but overall, I think I'm willing to say it's his best season of the show. Season 1. Yeah, I'll go on that point. I can stand on
Ooh.
that. So yeah.
All right, thank you, Impact. Nick, what are your thoughts on season 1 Hop Hop?
Yeah, I don't know, just really, really fun. I think since this is the season compared to season 2 and 3, right? Like, there's a lot of crazy shit that goes on in season 2 and 3, right? Like, they're packed with so many characters, plot lines, just tons of stuff. I think, like, yeah, season 1, I think it really just represents how dynamic they made Hop Hop. Because, yeah, he can really be, like, the voice of reason, or he can be the center of conflict, like an Impact said, or he can just be, like, there for some good, comedic hits, right? I think that's why, like, when it comes to, like, fandom tier lists, why Hop Hop, yeah, I don't think he's ever near the bottom, right? Like, even if he's not like anyone's like #1 favorite, he's at least in the top, right? At least in the top 5. I think always around maybe top 5, top 10, around there, right? And I think, like, yeah, this is just a show. It's like, yeah, he at least has, I mean, me and Tom, we're mega Hop Hop fans. So, like, every Hop Hop episode is a banger. But, like, I know this. Every member of the fandom, they probably have like one Hop Hop episode in particular that they really like. But, like, if I really went into what I like about him, it's just, I don't know, man. I think he's just like a really well written character. And I think, like, yeah, I mean, also, I feel like that's just it. Like, he's just a dynamic, well written character, and you can't go wrong with that, right? I think, also, yeah, he's funny as hell. He's funny as hell. I don't think I can relate to him as much as I do. No, sorry, as much as you do, Tom. But, like, I do get it though. I mean, he's funny. Like, he's a very funny, suffering old man. Like,
Why do you guys keep focusing on the suffering so much?
Because
no,
that's,
it's just funny.
I mean,
suffer. It's
the
fun
show
to think
focuses
about.
on it.
Wow.
Yeah, there's a lot of good Hop Hop torture.
Okay.
Like, the thumbnail is like,
This is gonna sound terrible out of context.
the thumbnail is literally the episode where, like, they talk about Hop Hop, like, having bad knees. Like, but anyways, yeah, thank you, Nick.
Oh yeah, no, he gets fucking laughed at by the Olms, right? Like, just embarrassing. But yeah.
Give that man a break.
Yeah.
For real.
So, Rurk, what are your thoughts on Hop Hop?
So I'm actually gonna start my thoughts on him with an anecdote because I know about the phrase like the median voter, but I want to talk about the median viewer of Amphibia, right? So one day I was like with my relatives in like my grandma's house, and they actually had a TV there, and they were watching Disney Channel, right? And they asked them if they watched Amphibia, and when they asked them that, I was surprised that they said yes, and they really enjoyed it. And then I asked 3 of them, like, who's your favorite character? They unanimously said Hop Hop, and that really like puts into perspective like the disparity between like the average TV viewer and like what we see in like online fandom consensus. Because like there might be lots of medium viewers who really love Hop Hop because like he's such a great character. Like he's funny, he's such a great like a father figure to Anne and the Plantars. And like back to my thoughts. With that being said, back to my thoughts. I love season 1 Hop Hop because it has to do with like Amphibia's premise itself being so unique for me because I'm so used to fish out of water stories being like bold adventures where like the main characters like in the super epic like fantasy which or sad fantasy wizard like place or like super technological place. But for Anne, she ended up in Wartwood, which is a very rural place. And the way that she transitioned into like being accustomed to amphibia culture felt so refreshing for me because of like the rural nature of it. Like she doesn't have to learn like super magic, like technological super defeat spells. What she has to do is hang out with the planners, hang out with Sprig, do farming, get accustomed to amphibia life, get accustomed to their food. And I think the center point of that is Hop Hop because like Sprig and Polly are like 10 and 6 respectively, right? But Hop Hop's like genuinely like a cornerstone of like he's been amphibia. He's been in amphibia. He's accustomed to this life. And that gives me like it gives Hop Hop like a really good like interesting point of view compared to like other father figures or adoptive father figures in like other animated pieces of media, because he's a farmer. He's like a humble guy. Like we know like he's a badass. I'm not disputing that, but like there's something about him being a simple farmer and like teaching Anne like all of his morals, like Uncle Ben, like in a grandpa way. It's just really refreshing. Not to mention like his humor. So yeah, I just love Hop Pop. I think Impact and Nick said everything else I wanted to say. He's hilarious and like such a great like character overall.
Thank you, Rook. And yeah, I like how I I can understand why Impact thought like thinks that this was like Hop Pop's best season, because like a lot of these episodes, even when he's not the focus of the episode, because like he's reacting to like Anne and Sprig's antics, or like he has to be kind of like the authority figure in season one, and because they're mostly in Wartwood, like he gets a lot of characterization even when he's not the focus of the episode. And you can kind of say like that does happen later on, like in season 2 and 3, where like even though he's not the focus, he's still getting like attention, which I'll get into later. But yeah, I really like
Yeah.
I really like how Hop Pop, even when the kids go on adventures, Hop Pop's still doing a lot or contributing a lot to the story. And
Yeah, and I think what's interesting about Hop Pop too is that like in a way like he is a mentor figure to like like to Anne, Sprig, and Polly and stuff, but it's like what I like about Hop Pop is that he's a lot more than that. You can tell Hop Pop doesn't have like everything together. You know what I mean? He's not like some wise old man or something. He's just a regular guy. Like I think that's a big thing that makes Hop Pop like what's the word? Like unique. He's simple but in a good way. Where it's like he's he's not like this mythical like wise old man or something to Anne or Sprig or Polly. He'll still give them like good advice and stuff, but he's a normal guy. You know what I mean? Like he has normal problems. Like I think that's I think that gives Hop Pop like he really is like kind of like he's still an everyman, but he's still like what's the word? Like he's still seasoned, if that makes sense. Like even Hot Pop will still like know his way around like the bazaar or like find the way to become mayor. Not he never actually gets to be mayor, but he still fights for his to get there, right? So I don't know. Hop Pop always has more than like the role he is in the Plantar family, and I think that gives him like it makes him more three-dimensional as a character. So because there's more stuff going on outside of the family that influences his position in it, if that makes sense. Like
I'm really glad you brought up the fact that like he's simple and that actually makes him more complex, because I think that Hop Up's like the perfect reflection of like Amphibia being less is more. Because even though like a lot of the characters have like relatively simple like kind of premises, the way they build up on that is what makes Amphibia so great. And I think Hop Up's like the prime example of that. Like it's like this simple guy, but you see him like try to get mayor. You see him try to like instigate like rebellions and stuff. You try to see him save a town, and it wouldn't be as like gripping if he was just like some super wise old man instead of like just a
yeah,
regular guy doing his best. I love that about Amphibia, especially like Anne. Anne's not like the super genius. Like Anne's the main character, and she's not the super genius of the trio, right? It's Marcy. But like the fact, like the simplicity of it all makes like the complexities of their like developments so much more like so satisfying for me. Amphibia just does it so
yeah,
well.
yeah,
yeah, and like I think what helps with it too is that like Hop Pop will have like even like his like problem with like getting with Sylvia, like he has a big issue with that. Like he has like things that are like connected to the family outside of it that gives the character more depth. And I'll get into why like that makes After the Rain really interesting, like recontextualization for his character. But like, yeah, most three-dimensional of the planters to me, in my opinion.
I like how you guys brought up about like later on when like he starts inspiring rebellions, because like it's good that we got a lot of characterization for Hop Pop before we got to like the mystery at the end of Ant vs. Wild with like him knowing about the Calamity Box, because then it kind of we kind of understand that he's a simple guy, but like he does still end up getting like that mythical status when he starts like inspiring the rebellion in Frog Valley. Like it just makes him like so much more of like an underdog.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I also think that if this wasn't Amphibia, Hop Up would have not been as good for me. I mean, as good to me because I don't want. I would have hated if they just like had like Hop Up doing his everyday shtick for like 2 or 3 episodes, and then the rebellion plot starts, and then the tax toads start. But that's what I love about Amphibia so much, especially in its episode order and the way it chose to like tell its arcs, because it's not just like we saw Hop Up for like 3 episodes. We spent a whole season with him and the rest of the planners. We know who they are, we know how they behave, we know what their everyday lives are like, we know how they interact with the town. And because of that, when we see them like rebelling or instigating stuff, becoming more mythological, becoming braver, it hits a million times harder than if they sped that up. It hits so much harder because of Amphibia's pacing and Amphibia's writing.
All right, yeah, thank you, Rook. Yeah, that's very well said. Like, yeah, there's just so much satisfaction when we like got that Hop Hop, like Sasha revealing that like that Hop Hop poster inspired by like the Obama change poster. Like that was hilarious and satisfying. Like,
Hop, nop, soda.
I I think like one thing I really like is that Hot Pop does lose like the initial election though, but it still has like ramifications on the world. Like that's awesome. Like I think a lot of shows would have had it so then like Hot Pop like well, if it was like a serialized show, I feel like a lot of shows would make Hot Pop win the election and then like what's the word like and him winning the election would cause problems. But I always like that he doesn't. Like I like how Hot Pop doesn't have the like. Well, okay. Well, the show kind of depicts it as Hot Pop didn't know he had to go all over like the other valleys to have them vote. But I think it's important to keep in mind that Hot Pop also has like a limited amount of resources, like compared to like Toadstool. Like he like the only resources he has is like him and his like 3 kids. Like Toadstool has like a bunch of money. You know what I mean? Like he's gonna be able to campaign a lot easier than Hot Pop can. You know, so like I like that. Like it still shows like the political problems there with it. Even though Hot Pop still tries to fight against Toadstool, doesn't have the resources to actually go against them well enough. So it always like keeps him in line anyway. So I always like that detail about it. Like so yeah, it still has ramifications on the world, but it also makes perfect sense of why Hot Pop wouldn't win the election just because of how like screwed up Amphibia's like whole caste system is. So
yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess we can go
I
into. Oh, go ahead, Rook.
I just want to say, I also love that about Amphibia. Like, yeah, like Impact said, like if it was any other show, it would have had like Hop Hop win the election. It would escalate things to this point. It would escalate things to this point. But like, I love that Amphibia is not this constant rising action. There are falls. We do fall off here. We do have like we can have like a big election thing, and then the next episode we gotta farm again. That's life. I love that. Like, it makes the show a lot more grounded, and it makes you watch the show not for like escalations, but more for like I fucking love these guys. I love Hop Up. I love. Oops, I accidentally swore, but I think I said it quite enough. But yeah, that's what Matt Brawley said in an interview. Like, put those characters first, and I love that about Amphibia.
Thank you,
yeah,
Rook. Yeah, I think we can kind of start slipping into season 2 now, since we kind of talked about reunion, where the planners are taken out of Wartwood. Hop Hop's role So like once we get into seasons 2 and 3, because there's so much more going on, Hop Pop doesn't get as much focus as he did in season 1, but there is still like a lot of like carryover, um, such as like Ballad of Hoppediah Planner, um, Caravan Named Desire kind of like touches on Hop Pop's like acting career. Um,
The box itself,
the box
like him
itself, yeah,
hiding it,
that
verification.
blows up. And I
Yeah,
guess to kind of summarize Hop Pop's role in season 2, like I kind of wanted to bring up how I think you've all heard me like give this like spiel before, but like basically like season 1, Hop Pop is kind of like the guide for the plot because he's like the adult and he's the one who sets the rules, he's the one who's taking the kids out from place to place. And then that kind of carries over into season 2 where they go to Newtopia. But once they get there, like Hop Pop's role is kind of he's basically done all he's could for the plot, or I guess the main objective, which is to get Anne home, with the exception of the box, which is kind of like a delayed time bomb that's kind of just like ticking in the background until we get to After the Rain. And that happens, that carries over into the ramifications of that, and the fallout of that goes into like the first temple, and kind of has an effect on how the finale plays out. But for the character himself, like I kind of said my piece. I'm curious what you have to say about Hop Pop in season 2, Nick.
Oh, oh man, I mean, I honestly, I'm having similar feelings. As I feel like, yeah, we've gone into so many times on why Hop Pop's a GOAT that I'm like realizing like, yeah, there really isn't much else for me to say. But I think, yeah, I don't know. I think like again, yeah, I think he's most active in season 1, but I think like yeah, season 2 still gives him like a lot of exciting moments, right? Like they definitely they try to go deeper into his relationship with Polly, right? Because I know like honestly, you can't even say that he had an episode of Polly in season 1 because it's more like again the man is like I mean, I'm going to PS and what I'm talking about, right? Like even when there's an episode about the relationship, it's really about the relationship until like we got to season 2, right? And yeah, I don't know. I think honestly, I mean, I just don't have much to say, but I think, um, I mean, I think like, yeah, he might not have been as big in season 2, but I still think he like took a lot of really great episodes, a lot of like really strong progress for the family, a lot of strong changes, a lot of strong emotional moments with Anne, and yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I maybe love the guy even more. So those are my thoughts.
All right, thank you,
I
Nick.
think like one thing with Hop Pop this season that's interesting is that like because like the box is like this ticking time bomb. Season 1 is like because the thing with like Anne like for season 2, right, is like Anne is sort of gaining more responsibility in the family. She's like riding the cart more. Anne and Hop Pop are getting like closer to each other, and like that's causing this whole thing where like Hop Pop doesn't like want the box, like Anne to know he buried the box, but at the same time, like he's also like scared of what it could do and its powers and such. And like I don't know, that's also like a fun like I guess ticking time bomb of the story that I don't really feel like any other season has. The more I think about it, like we don't really have. Well, okay, hold on. I guess the invasion in season 3, even then that feels a little weird because like it's like whatever. It's a little different with that, but this is kind of the only season to really have that, and it being tied to Hop Pop specifically. I think like I think Hop Pop is still definitely involved into like the major conflict of the plot right now. Like him burying the box stopped Andreas from getting it right, like in Utopia, and like forces Andreas to kind of like play his hand and like manipulate Marcy and stuff, and that causes a whole thing. So, but doesn't force Andreas. He doesn't against his own choice. But you know what I mean. So like his actions are still like affecting the plot. But I think like when we get to like other seasons, like when we get to season 3, things change a lot for the character. So he's still definitely like relevant. And we're getting stuff with like his acting career too. That was like hinted in season 1, and now it's like a fully fleshed out thing of his character. Again, working what season 1 did, where like Pop Pop is a lot more than the Plantar family, but he still has to put his responsibility to his family. So it's like there's always that kind of fun duality to the character that's still kept, which like the actor episode kind of explores a bit more. So I don't know. I think Hot Pop in season 2. Well, I think with After the Rain too. It's like I still think it's a great season for the character, but it does feel a little different from season 1, if that makes sense. I think it's because there's a lot more going on. So yeah.
All right, thank you, Impact. And Rook, what are your thoughts on Hop Hop season 2?
I'm having a harder time like thinking about my thoughts on Hop Hop season 2. I mean season 2 Hop Hop. But I have to say like I still remember everything he did. I don't know what else to say that's insightful other than he was great in it. Like from ballad um to After the Rain, like he just kept like the momentum he had during season 1 and expanded it a bit more, especially in After the Rain. I have not much else to say other than I think the main reason why I think season 2 had less quality of Hop Hop compared to season 1 is just because of the lesser screen time. But again, that's necessary because that's where the show was heading in season 2. With that being said, though, they still gave him a lot of like screen time, a lot of episodes, so we still had a blast watching him in season 2. But I don't really have much to say about it compared to season 1.
All right, thank you, Rook. Yeah, like yeah, I agree. After the Rain, um, you did kind of get the epilogue of like the box drama with him and Anne, and after that, he kind of takes a back seat from like the main story for the rest of the season. Um,
Yeah.
I'd
I
argue
think oh sorry, no, cut you off.
no, because
Yeah.
I could, if you said that like Hoppa was like the most to the, I don't want to say Hoppa was the most relevant to the story here because I know the story is more than just the
The
story of
plot.
Amphibia is more than just the story surrounding the box.
Yeah.
But regarding the box itself, yes, Hop Hop was the most relevant player here because we didn't meet anyone else. So then once you got Andres and once you got backstory with the box, then kind of that was the transition moment where Hop Hop is no longer we're out of Wartwood now. We're out of the Hop Hop's generally like a really like knowledgeable character in terms because he's part of the world. He's lived in it. He usually knows where to go or what to do. But like once the box becomes more prominent, like it's all out of his hands. It's in like another like they're going into uncharted territory. So keeping him so kind of I liked how the box was kind of like the box's reveal and like him leaving in Warwood kind of pulls us along where instead of just like getting answers right there and then with the box like and just the delay itself has like ramifications in terms of like yeah Andrews can't get the box ahead of time which means that the gem which means I forgot what Matt said for our interview like because he would have held onto the box and let them go on their quest.
He would have had leverage over the girls if he had the box. Like it's something where like in like Marcy and Anne and Sasha would have to like bring the gems like to Andreas if he has the box, because he can't go home without it. So it's like he would have leverage over them if he had the box. So
Right. Yeah, and yeah, I just liked how Hop Pop just like it wasn't malicious for him bearing the box. It was very like it was a very like last minute or very like how do I describe his decision to make it? Like it was very like it was a very like hasty decision.
He went sicko mode.
But yeah, that's all I can really say about Hop Pop season 2. And then going
I
go
do.
ahead, Impact.
I wanted to mention something because I think with Hot Pop it's interesting because After the Rain is like I feel like a lot of people, including like myself, when like when we got the hint that like Hop Pop knows something about this box that we don't. Okay, like there was kind of like an expectation of like Hop Pop having a lot of knowledge of the box, but then After the Rain kind of flips out in your head and like he doesn't actually. He doesn't know how the box works. That's exactly why he doesn't want and to touch this thing. He doesn't know if it's bad. He knows it's bad, but he doesn't know what it does or how it works or anything. I think that's like an interesting take they went with it because like I like how the show focuses more on the conflict between the characters and not the box itself because the lore in the box we'll get later, right? But like Hot Pop wasn't like Stan where like he is like has this secret plan. You know, like I like that they kept them in character. Like he was it's not like and like where like he has like this secret face reveal later. No. It's not like that. Everything we knew about Hot Pop still matters. Like to him hiding the box away. So I liked how it wasn't a twist. It was more about what like well the twist is more like Hot Pop wants to like keep the box buried because he's afraid of like something crazy happening like with like Sprig and Polly, for example, Sprig and Polly's parents. Which is cool because that's a good recontextualization of like why he's so protective of everyone, why he's so like rule focused all the time. That's like that's a good character beat for him. So I'm glad they like kept the focus on not on the box and the lore of the show, but more on the characters. That's kind of a constant thing throughout Amphibia. So like it I'm glad it still like the show doesn't change focus, if that makes sense, when After the Rain shows up.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you, Impact. Like yeah, and once we get into season 3, like the show like very clearly sets up in the premiere that Hop Pop's kind of like in the back seat once they're on Earth.
Yeah.
But then
Yeah.
once you get into like 3B, there's like surprisingly a lot of like Hop Pop like centric moments.
Yeah, a lot of snake attacks, a lot of snake attacks.
Care to elaborate, Nick?
Yeah, I mean, like it was very. Yeah, no. I mean, if I brought up the fandom, I'd be able to say so many funny things. But yeah, I mean, like, again, it was just how this man, like, let me see how many times it was just so. You get the title of the episodes, you get the descriptions. You're not really sure what's going to happen to them, right? Like, because they're very bare, right? Like, we didn't know what was going to be in that, right? But they sounded plot related because they're both I think Mother of Ohms and let me see Mother of Ohms and the Root of Evil. Both of those were tied to the very plot heavy episodes, right? So you assume that okay, these are going to be big lore heavy ones. But then no, Hop he steals the day, like not just once but twice, right? Which is my kid was just like and like they're both very good Hop episodes, and so. Yeah, I do think that is a nice energy about season 3 because I feel like if season 1 and season 2 pretty much contained like a sort of full series arc, then I feel like you could see season 3 as a bit of an epilogue, right? So it's like, okay, what comes after this sort of ending for this old man, right? And that's why there's so many episodes that sort of just they don't serve to like radically change his character like season 1 and season 2 tried to do, but they do just, make you appreciate him being there more, right? Like, it reminds you of why you like him, it reminds you of why the family likes him, it reminds you of, like, what he added to the show, right? And it's just this, yeah, I don't know, it's just this really nice treatment. I think of, like, yeah, I know for a fact I've talked about it before, that I just, I made an equivalent to the show, like, giving him a massage, like a shoulder massage, a back rub, just, like, telling him, hey, you did good, old man, rest well, right? So, yeah, I don't know. There's just like that really nice energy, especially to season 3B, right? Oh, also, I need to bring up that moment too. I need to bring up, all. No, it's not all. I need to bring up the beginning and the end, right? Like, I remember, we were all. I remember we kind of thought that that through line was dead and buried, right? Like, when we thought the box through line was dead and buried, right? Like, we thought, like, okay, we got the episode where they made up, it's never gonna be brought up again. But then boom, right there, Anne tells Sasha something about forgiveness, and it is the sweetest thing when you see her look at Hop Pop, tell her about forgiveness, and then Hop Pop gives her a thumbs up back. Like, that was worth every second of watching this show. So yeah, those are my thoughts on 3B Hop Pop.
Thank you, Nick. Rook, what are your thoughts on season 3?
On
Hop
season
Pop?
3. I'd like to mention something that, first of all, I'm gonna say I enjoyed season 3 Hop Pop way more than season 2 Hop Pop, even though I love season 2 Hop Pop. I'd also like to say a big part of why I loved 3A Hop Pop was I love the role reversal that he and Anne have, where it's the complete opposite of like season 1. Where like now Hop Pop's the one who has new costumes to get like used to, and he's the one with the new like unfamiliar antics, whereas Anne's like trying to be this mitigator, trying to like make sure the situation doesn't spiral out of control and get like them caught by the feds. It's just super fun. I loved Hop Pop so much in 3A. I love Hollywood Hop Pop too. Like, you wouldn't expect that to be like an actual like finished arc, but they did it. Amphibia's just that good. That's what I have to say. I also have to say that 3B Hop Pop, like that scene that Nick mentioned, like yeah, it's super super underrated. I also have to mention the scene that didn't make me. All right, when I watched The Hardest Thing for the first time, obviously the scene with Sprig was one that made me cry, but so many people I know started tearing up because of Hop Pop's family always finds each other moment. And I don't blame them. That was so powerful. That was like such a gut wrencher. And that speaks so much about why I love season 3 Hop Hop so much. We went from a fun role reversal to like complete maturing to like seeing all the themes come back. Super good.
Thank you, Rook. Impact, what are your thoughts on Hop Pop in season 3?
So I
Kill
think
him.
Hot Pop in season 3 is like, huh?
No, I was because when you paused, I just said kill him because it took too long.
No,
sorry,
I think
continue.
so. I think Hot Pop in season 3 is kind of just okay. I think it's my least favorite iteration of the character out of all 3 seasons. So I think my problem with Hot Pop, so like 3A specifically, I think one of my issues with it is that I think we talked about this before, where like the planters are kind of like
One character.
they're like merging together, and like I think that's a frustrating thing with Hot Pop because you really have a good chance to like add to the conflict of the story. Like New Normal like starts off pretty well with this, where Hot Pop's like not sure what to do on Earth, but it's like asking Anne for help, and he advocates for Anne too to her parents, which is nice. Like that's a good like character beat. And then you have like Adventures in Cat Sitting, which is like a good character beat too. Like Hot Pop like doesn't want to laze around and like not do anything. And like what's the cousin's name? Like
Cousin Stanley.
Yeah, that was hilarious. That's an awesome recontextualization of why like Hot Pop immediately got Anne to work. Like in season 1, like that's great. But I think like I don't know. I feel like I'm not the biggest fan of Hot Pop kind of like vibing this season because like we have an invasion, Amphibia is being destroyed, his home is being destroyed, and it's like I'm not I'm not super sure how I feel about putting Hot Pop on the back burner when like he was such a big part of the Plantar family. I feel like he even loses his mentor role a little bit because like Anne's parents kind of fill that role for Anne, and like Hot Pop kind of does for like Sprig maybe once in 3A, and then never does it again. And then like I don't know, I feel like Hot Pop's kind of underused in 3A, and like I don't even think Hollywood Hot Pop like expands on the character that much. I felt like it kind of did. It gave him the same message he did like in Caravan Named Desire. I feel like I didn't really feel like it expanded on it. Like he still comes to the same conclusion. Which I think is unfair because like I don't really feel like it challenges that last arc the character had previously. So it felt like it was almost repeating itself rather than adding to Hot Pop as a character. And then Dreeby is like okay too. I don't know. Like I feel like with his episodes, Mother Om is like good. I like Mother Om, but it's like I don't know, like Hot Pot being like feeling old and like not useful to the team. I guess that makes sense. Like I didn't feel like that was something that was like set up for the character the whole time, but okay, we need to relate to Mother Om. That makes sense. Like and then Root of Evil, like I don't know, man. Like he's like he really likes vegetables. I'm like, all right, okay. I don't know. I feel like Hot Pop as a character gets like dumbed down in season 3 and not added to it. It just feels odd because like you have this like interesting conflict with Anne in season 3, or like we have an entire like rebellion plot and Hot Pop's like not involved in it at all. That's so weird. Like we had like a whole thing in season 1 where Hot Pop's like actions like inside of the rebellion. We're not gonna do anything with that. I'm surprised about that. Okay. So I don't know. Season 3 Hot Pop is like my least favorite iteration of the character. He gets some great stuff in the finale though. Like he gets those like big moments there, but I feel like I don't know. I feel like season 3 Hot Pop is like I don't really think it's like the best iteration of the character. I think they put him in the back burner when they don't need to. Like Hop Hop can still be a big part of like the general conflict, the invasion, or like the rebellion and stuff. And they just kind of just don't use him for like stuff he doesn't really need. I feel like I don't know. I don't think Hot Pot was done dirty. I just think he was oversimplified in season 3. Well, I think 1 and 2 did a good job of like giving the character more depth. I think 3 like simplifies Hot Pot too much, and I don't like that. I think that was a disservice to the character, in my opinion. How far we've gotten with him, it felt odd like in the season to like kind of put him with the rest of the kids. Like in 3A, I'm like that's weird. Like I feel like he should kind of be that like fun in between Anne and her parents, but that's not really the case. So he kind of loses his role in the family too. So I don't know. Not my favorite season. My least favorite season of the character. There we go.
All
I
right.
actually find your takes really interesting on it because, like, I think your reasons are actually the opposite of why I loved season 3 Hop Pop, if that makes sense. Because, like, I mentioned the role reversal with Anne, remember before, and I think like it's such a testimony to how like Amphibia emphasizes how much environments change people and change like their capabilities or like how they act. Because like it was Amphibia, right, that like shaped Anne to become like to evolve into what she's become now, right? And I find it
Yeah.
very interesting that when Hop Pop is placed into that similar role in like in LA, like do you see sort of an Annification of Hop Pop and you see a Hopification of like Anne? And it's also interesting to me because since you brought up like the other planters during season 3A, there's I just realized like I kind of see like Sprig becoming more like Hop Hop in 3. No, my only basis for this is like Spider Sprig, because like we saw Hop Hop in like the first 2 seasons, like starting the rebellions and instigating stuff, right? Basically like taking up the initiative. I kind of saw that in Spider Sprig. Like Sprig literally becomes like an LA hero. I find that kind of funny. Like usually you'd expect like Hop Hop to do like that kind of like hero stuff, but like since they moved to LA, you can see like Hop Up's doing the more of like, oh, I need to do something now. I need to do something now. You can really see how the
Yeah.
environment of LA like shaped how Hop Up changed. And I think that perfectly builds up to like Old Town Road when he was like talking with Mother Rome and stuff about like how he feels. I think maybe that's the purpose of season 3A, because we saw how the environment shifted Hop Hop and made him feel like less adequate than he did in the first two seasons. I think that it's a fulfillment of like a continuous theme in Amphibia about how important environments are, how important it is to like experience change and stuff. I do agree though. I think that they could have made Hop Up a little bit more mature, but overall, I still loved season 3 Hop Hop. Really interesting cake though. I actually really liked hearing your thoughts on it. I think it's a very useful take when talking about season 3 Hop Hop.
Like, I
I
agree
think
with.
like
Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna respond because I think like with what's the word, like the anification of Hop Pop, I think that could be the case. I think it's like I don't know, like in Hot Tea to Drop, right? Like Hop Pop's getting scammed by like it's an old people joke. Oh, he's getting scammed, haha, and that's funny. But I'm like, I don't know, like. One thing that was cool about Hop Pop, like he was able to get his way around the Bazaar, like a place where like people would probably scam you a lot or like steal your stuff or whatever. I'm like, that's cool. Like I kind of wish that like attitude like came about a little bit, but it doesn't feel that way. And it's like, I don't know. I feel like Hop Pop is like, I think a lot of the nuance of Hop Pop as a character is lost. That's my frustration with him in season 3. Like, and he has this chance too to like be a part of like the bigger plot of the story. And this is kind of a problem with all the planters in season 3, where like they're not that involved in the plot, and that's frustrating because like it sometimes like makes them lose bigger moments that they could have. So like, I don't know. Season 3 Hop Pop isn't a bad character. I just think I think it's my least favorite season for him because I think after the box plot, I don't think they give him something like big, like something that really keeps him like important to the overall story. So they kind of blend him in with like Spring and Polly. I'm like, that's not how Hot Pot worked before. So I don't know.
I do.
Yeah.
I think I agree
I'll
with.
go ahead.
I agree with Impact with like. In terms of season 3A, I feel like if we got, like, I enjoyed Hop Hop in the back seat, but I do think that if they gave him a couple more scenes with at least the Boon Choys, it would have helped differentiate him from the rest of the planners because he was Anne's like caretaker in Amphibia. So if you had more scenes of like him, like if the Boon, like, example, I don't like going into like what could have been, but like if we had scenes of like the Boon Choice asking Hop Hop about like how to deal with Anne or how he dealt with Anne, I feel like that would have been a great way to kind of show how like it would have been nice to have to show that how Anne's parents can understand how Anne became who she is now compared to where she was at the start of the series through Hop Hop.
Yeah.
I think we had if we had just like if we had like one or two of those moments like sprinkled throughout 3A, then I feel like that could help like I feel like that would go a long way to solve like the criticisms you had with that Impact. And then
yeah, and I think like I was gonna say like sorry, Thumb, did I cut you off? Or...
Yeah, I was just gonna continue about like Hollywood Hop Hop. Just like I think the difference between like Caravan Named Desire and like Hollywood Hop Hop is that like Caravan Named Desire, he was kind of like contributing. He kind of had to like give up his dreams because like he was unintentionally like committing crime. While like Hollywood Hop Hop, he like the way he became a star was very like legit. Even though X was chasing them, like he still kind of like was able to put that behind him on his own terms. And it kind of ended with him kind of like giving himself like a new goal of like being like a director instead. I just liked how that kind of like it was like one door closes, another door opens. 3B, I kind of disagree about like how they didn't contribute much to the plot because I feel like the whole point of like Anna the Planners like coming back to Amphibia was that like basically all of their past adventures or the people they met along the way kind of like was the reason they were able to form the coalition they had to go up against Andreas. And
The
of
army,
course,
yeah.
yeah, and of course like it kind of blends together with like, oh, Sprig did something here in Grimes' Pupil, Hop Hop did something here with like Gary and Mother
Yeah.
Ohms too. Like, but I do think like he still contributed to the plot, even though
I think
I I would agree that like it's not as the box stuff I think is a lot more interesting than like the season 3 stuff. I do agree with that, but I do feel like he still contributed.
Yeah, I think like what's the word how I can describe it? Like I feel like it's also what I think it's one of those things where I think Hop Pop as a character could have been explored better. Like okay, like how do I
No,
explain
that's
this?
fair.
Like
Yeah.
I think Mother Ohm like is fine. Like oh like he feels useless because he's old. I'm like okay, all right, but like I don't know. Like
Oh,
there's
okay.
I think there's
Sorry, in the defense of that thing, because like even though Amphibia made a lot of like Hop Up being old jokes, they never really focused on it until season 3. And I'm kind of
yeah.
glad they saved that for season 3 because then it still felt like an episode that like a weaker written show would have like done in season 1.
Oh my god, yeah.
No, I see what you mean. Okay.
We stay winning. We stay winning. We stay winning.
But like
I don't know. It's like
it's good that they gave like a whole like adventure, like a whole story with Hop Up, and then at the end like address his age. Or
yeah,
near the
like,
end,
and
yeah.
I think it does a good job with Mother Olm too, because it's like a nice parallel to her, and like it gives like a chance for like because I like that like Pop Pop gives us a chance to get to know Mother Olm as a person. You know what I mean? Like it's not like the episode isn't just about lore, the stones, the core, like for like 11 minutes. So like which I know, I mean, I wouldn't say no to, but like you know what I mean? Like we get to know Mother Ohm more through Hop Pop. I don't know, like I just think there's something like more they could have did with the character that still harkens back to like seasons 1 and 2 well that I don't think they do. And like I don't know. It's I think there's more to the character they could have did. Like this isn't like I'm not trying to go like a what if or like lost potential thing, if that makes sense. It's more like I think the ideas they had could have been like more well fleshed out. Because I do think the character gets flattened a little bit in season 3. Well, you don't have to do that, like to make the overall story work. So I don't know. Those are my critiques of Hot Pop.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think I have to say I have to add an addendum. I absolutely agree with like Thumb and Impact. I would have loved to see a Hop Pop episode with the Boon Choice. That would have been so like amazing. I will say that. That would have been that has a lot of potential.
Yeah, and it feels like it's kind of set up like in like
Normal.
normal
Yeah.
too. Like yeah, I'm like that would have been a cool dynamic. And it just
Payoff,
didn't
yeah.
happen. It was like
I think we needed to see a payoff to that. That would have been like
yeah.
that would have made it like
And I guess we kind of talked about finale stuff with Hop Up. Like, I guess this is a good point to like address like the Heron thing. Like, you know, they got their chance to kind of like they have like action against, how do I describe it? It's like when it came to like the herons, they were able to take like matters into their own hands this time.
Yeah, which is like, which is interesting because like I didn't expect them to like pull that route like with the herons. When it first showed up, I was like, "Oh, does that work?" I mean, like, okay, like we're gonna give them a fight. That's fine. I don't know. I think the heron fight feels like a bigger thing for. Well, no. It's a big thing for all of them, but I think it's a big thing for Hot Pop. Though, like, it's a little odd how they betray it. I guess. Like, I can't quite pinpoint it, but like, I don't know. It seems like they betray it as something that they could have stopped before. I have to rewatch that fight. Like something about that I remember was like a little strange about it, but I think it works okay. So
Yeah,
I
like
don't know.
I wouldn't expect Amphibia to kind of like revisit that kind of like because Spring and Polly's parents died from like I guess the cruelty of like the nature of Amphibia. But then
Yeah,
so it's passed off as more of like it's a cruel world. It's not like the herons weren't being like malicious, which I like how it doesn't really come out of nowhere because like I know like they just show the two herons in toe tax or not toe tax, prison break. Then after the rain shows us again like two herons. So like there was speculation at the time. It's like, oh, are these like the same ones? Like, are these like connected? And then by the time we get to like all in, it feels like they kind of like confirmed that for us. And I'm kind of glad they didn't just
yeah,
kill off the birds because like they are still portrayed as like animals. So like the player hunting dance like coming back into play and taming like that's like I think that's what kind of made it feel like
that was a
full
good call.
circle. They're not like killing
Yeah,
animals out of like revenge.
yeah. I think it worked out for me. I don't know. The planter I have to rewatch that fight because I remember like the heron fight is like kind of a culmination of like I don't know. I think it's a good ending for the character. It's just like I don't know.
Yeah,
I gotta rewatch it again.
it feels a little bit like contrived, but because like there's so many other things being paid off, like hunting dance, like Sprig and Polly helping to save their adoptive parents, like from the birds that took their
Which is
own.
cool.
Yeah, like that. It
That's a good
all kind of
moment.
like because everything else works well. I can kind of like put my like my complaints about it to like aside because like everything else works out really well for it. Oh yeah, and Hop Hop recognized the bird because he like from a scar he gave it. That was pretty metal. But
Yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't expect them to just
Like,
mention that detail. I was like, what? Okay. I guess that works.
yeah, like the series kind of ends off with Hop Hop running his avocado empire, or the start of it at least. My minor gripe, because I know a lot of people get confused with like the timeline after at the end of the finale.
oh,
We know the amphibious scene is only
very
like a couple of months after, but then
yeah,
and then like the scene with the girls is a decade later. But like Sprig looks slightly different. Polly looks very different.
very
Like
good.
I would have liked if Hop Pop was just like a little bit different instead of like his normal design, but that's like a nitpick.
Like imagine if they took away his whiskers, like he was just bald, like just completely bald. He didn't have his like his hair. I don't know. Yeah,
Okay,
it'd be
actually,
very,
yeah, I wouldn't. I'm glad they kept him the way he was.
that'd be very. I'd be laughing if he lost those. Yeah.
Like a different outfit or something, because I know Sprig got like a little different outfit. And, not a different outfit. He just got the bandana, but like it's something. Like, but I do
No, I
like
mean,
it. Just
I
it ends with like him and so like he was just like chilling on like a chair.
Yeah. And also, no, I was gonna mention because I know you mentioned like a lot of people got confused on the timeline. I think like one of the funniest things, like during all the post finale talks, was that I think like a lot of the voice actors are actually confused too. Like they didn't know that they kept on referring to the amphibia, I guess what do you call it, like a fast forward or whatever, or flash forward. I don't know, but like the time skip. They kept on referring the time skip to like 10 years later instead of like a few months later. It was very funny. It always made me laugh because it was like no, I don't think they would look like Sprig still looks like a little kid, right? Like I think he would at least look like an adult if it was 10 years later, but like, I don't know. It was funny. But yeah, I mean, I agree. I think I don't know. Yeah, the man's living happy. He's gonna live the rest of his life happy, right? Like he's with family and friends. He's becoming an he's creating
His
his
new empire. His new
yeah, his avocado
empire.
empire. Like it's gonna be insane. Like he's going. It's going to pay off. His and Frobo will be there. And he has a successor to the planter farm, right? Frobo, he will outlive everyone. He will outlive the entire taking
No,
care of the
you're
farm.
making me imagine like a very sad like final
Yeah.
show. Like imagine like we see like the adventures of like the girls and then the Panthers, and then just the final show of like the Amphibia franchise and just like Frobo reflecting on everything and like being all alone, very dry.
If
I could
Amphibia
just
becomes like a decade spanning franchise, Frobo can be the R2D2 of the show of the franchise.
everything. He's seen everything.
But like, and I overanalyze like the last scene of like the Anne statue, like how like Hop Hop seems like a little like sad or like emotional, like seeing that Anne statue while everyone else is kind of like happy about it, like or proud about it. That's just me kind of like overanalyzing. Like it's that scene where like the players are looking at the Anne statue.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, and while the others were like, you can see admiration. You can still see admiration in Hop Hop's eyes, but you can also see like a bit of like a feeling of sadness, I think. And find that so complex. Like it's amazing how much you can analyze just from like little nuances in the face, just the way like Hop Hop looks at, right?
I
Yeah,
mean, I agree. I think everyone has their own unique reactions. I do think that definitely helps. Like sell the emotional moments. I'm guessing like if everyone had the same exact face, that probably would have thrown her off. But yeah, I mean, yeah, it's just yeah. I mean, I remember Matt, didn't he release that one thing? I think what was it? I think he released this one drawing of either a drawing or like some art of this one frog. I think he was like visiting Wartwood, right? And he was like, oh, he asked Hop Hop who's a statue of, and he's like, oh, my granddaughter or
oh,
something. It was
I
just
think that was
ridiculous.
a fan drew that, and then like Matt like commented to it.
Yeah, it was sweet. It was very very sweet. Like damn, it's like Matt, you hurt me with this.
Oh, it's gonna continue to hurt with this art book and all that stuff.
Yeah, no, I'm so excited. I'm so excited for that. Like that, I cannot wait.
But I guess we'll go into final thoughts. I guess Rook, any final thoughts on Hop Hop?
I don't really talk about Hop Hop compared to like other characters, but like he's such an important and amazing character to this show. Maybe it wouldn't be the same without Hop Hop. Like there's so much heart and soul that would be lost if he never like became such a huge part of this show. Like so much of like there's like so many elements that go to what make Amphibia great, and I feel like Hop Pop needs to be talked about a lot more because he brings so much to the table. Like there's so much he did for Anne that people need to talk about more. Like the amount of influence and the amount of time like he spent with Anne, and also his interactions with others. It's such an amazing part of the show, and I think like I'm glad that like we can like in a way like give more credence to that because it's so good. That's all.
Thank you, Rook. Nick, any final thoughts?
Yeah, I love this old man. Like, I'm always down to talk. I'm always down to like, blow smoke up his ass. Like he's just like a really, really, really solid character to me. And like I don't think, yeah, it's always just so fun thinking about how he transforms across a story. Where I think about like, how what he brings transforms across a story. Like he's just, yeah, I think he's just, I don't know. He's a character I really love.
Thank you, Nick. Impact, any final thoughts on Hop Pop?
I love Hop Pop. I think he's like easily the most three-dimensional of the Planters. I think season 1 is like really good for the character. I think like in general, Hop Pop, like I love Hop Pop. I think he like gives like fun ideas to the themes of change in the story. I think he's like kind of this not bastion, but like no, yeah, he's kind of like this bastion for the show that like is like very influential to like Anne's overall character growth, the themes and ideas of the story, even like the girls' relationship, right? Because if you change Anne, you change the relationship. So like, I love Hop Pop. I think I've said everything I needed to say about the character, but he's great. He's my favorite planter of the three.
Thank you, Impact. And yeah, my overall thoughts on Hop Pop, like fantastic character, mentor figure, relatable, hilarious, solid, like amazing acting by Bill Farmer, voice of Goofy, but here like he has like another like unique role for him, which is great.
Yeah, and he has to be both like he has to be both funny and like Hop Pop is a character that has like a large range of emotions. So like it lets Bill Farmer like go to a lot of places with the character. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just entertaining character to watch. And that kind of wraps up our analysis slash coverage of Hop Pop as a character. Thank you all for listening. Next time we'll be talking about side characters throughout the show. General discussion on that, similar to like our villains discussion. And then we'll get to the remaining characters or remaining members of the Planner family. But until then, thank you for listening and see you guys next time. Say goodbye, everyone.
See you guys.
Peace, everybody.
Thanks for back.
See ya.